I think it's time to talk about the 6 major pillars of marketing psychology that it seems that nobody likes to talk about. Most people are quite obsessed with talking about problem awareness, pain points, and desired outcomes. But I believe that there is a different framework that is far more effective. So let's do it. Number 1, you need to justify failure. I'll hit these really quick and then discuss them a bit later. So nobody likes to be told that their problem is their fault. So the number 1, and I'm giving you all 6 of these in order. You see me looking down here all the time. It's because I have my notes in front of me as I'm jotting on the iPad. The message gets conveyed far faster as to what the problem is rather than talking about pain points necessarily. You need to justify the failure, preferably to an external source from your prospective customer or client or whoever you're trying to talk to. Number 2 is to confirm suspicions. And a good way of thinking about this is the suspicion that most people have, and it's completely irrelevant whether this is true or not. The suspicion that they have, if you don't have a specific one to go after, is simply justifying the failure can confirm the suspicion. Because most of us are suspicious that our failures aren't our fault. And being told that our failures aren't our fault will always confirm the suspicions. There we go. Confirm the suspicion that some other external force is working on us to keep us from achieving the goal that we're attempting to achieve. Number 3, calm fears. Provide information that makes the failure and the confirmed suspicion not the bad guy. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Number 4, this is the important one as well, because they all work together. Contradict opinion. Now, this one works best in which, so whatever framework that you have used to justify a failure, in which you have confirmed their suspicions, you then calmed their fear about this thing that justified their failure. Now you need to contradict their opinion. This is also the part where there are some marketers that will call this belief shifting within contradicting of that opinion. Number 5, encourage dreams. This is very similar to traditional marketing advice that talks about desired outcomes. Except it, instead of just talking about a desired outcome, right? This encouraging dreams gives that idea a very different framework. And then number 6, solidify logic, right? And what that means is make it all make sense through your product or solution. So now let's start back up at the top and talk about these a little bit more in depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a quick example. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason. I am an ex-high-ranking cult member. I have been out of it for over a decade. It was a religious cult. And I have also, at the same time, been an entrepreneur for most of my life. And as I am now retiring out of some previous businesses, I have decided to start teaching some of these tactics and techniques that I learned from religion, and particularly a very conservative, strict cult type religion and situation, for ethical manipulation and persuasion. So as I don't do pain point and desired outcome, here's my magic pills type of marketing. What I've just given you is the framework that I use and teach from what I learned. So what happens is with religion, religion justifies our failures, right? So within Christianity, and since Christianity was the one that I'm most familiar with, that's the one that I will use. Christianity will justify our failures as humans with original sin, right? So it's like, we were all born in sin, blah, 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 all this stuff. That's why we're bad people and we do bad things. So, failure justified. Number two, which we will confirm our suspicions. So, how religion does this is they will say, now the devil's out there, right? And this also ties right in with justifying our failures. Not only does original sin justify our failures, the devil made me do it justifies our failures, but also confirms our suspicion, in which it feels, like there's something external that wants to work against us. Most of us feel that way, and that when you state that as fact, then it confirms suspicions and simultaneously helps justify the failure. Calming fears. So how does religion calm our fears, right? Promises us the ability of something better, or provides a framework and a promise that there is something better out there, right? Contradicting opinions. So a great example of this is, evolution versus creation, right? There's all kinds of contradictory opinions, and each denomination, each religion has a specific set of opinions that contradicts a commonly held opinion of all the others. So it's important, remember, this is a 6-pillar framework. And 5, encouraging dreams. Of course, that one's pretty obvious. We all want to live in utopia and be perfect, so they promise us heaven. And then you can solidify logic, which is, and this is a very interesting thing to note about solidifying the logic, and this applies to your business and your product and solutions as well, is it doesn't necessarily have to be true. Whether the facts, whether 1 through 5 here, right, are actually true or not, objectively true, is not relevant to your ability to solidify logic. Spelled that wrong. C. As long as it sounds logical and you have a natural progression from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, right? And it makes sense, you're good. And that's what religion does with, like Bible study and stuff like that. So now I'll run through here and give you a second example of exactly how, in this video, I've just done the exact same thing. So number 1, I just justified your failure, in which if your marketing and your business messaging and how you're making your content is, not quite where you want it to be, I just blamed the old framework of problem awareness, pain points, desired outcomes, solutions, which is your typical marketing advice, as the reason for that failure. Number 2, I've just confirmed your suspicions, right, that the old framework doesn't work like all the internet gurus tell you that it does. So as you've been attempting to implement it, you're suspicious you don't have quite all the information, right, which is just what I got done telling you, which also helps justify your failures. I am confirming your fears. Calming fears, sorry. So in calming your fears, said, this isn't difficult, right? All we have to do is switch from the old way of thinking of it to the new way of thinking of it. Contradicting opinions, right? So I've been doing that all along through the mere fact of justifying the failure from the old way, confirming the suspicions you don't have all the information you think you need, calming your fears that we are possible, and now we have contradicted previously held opinions. And so now I can encourage your dream. So now if I do that, I'm going to say something along the lines of, really, give me an example of a better business model than religion, right? Large groups of people basically being taught and, to pledge 10% of their income for little more than being told what they already know, believe, and want to hear, and a sense of belonging within a social group. So I am also encouraging your dreams in which now, yes, it can be different and you can create a far more robust marketing campaigns, ads, landing pages, everything, if you run your content through this framework rather than the old one. And solidifying logic, I mean, that's not hard to do. I mean, just look at this list. I mean, what's not logical about it? So I would recommend not trying to cram every single one of these 6 pillars into every single piece of content, but over time, whatever it is you're doing, producing for your business, needs to hit all 6 of them. So as a bonus here, number 7 factor, which is authenticity. So what can happen when you have authenticity is whether something is actually objectively true is irrelevant to those 6 pillars. What makes this easier to actually implement in all of your messaging? Authenticity. And this is when you can tell the truth and you actually believe it yourself.